APEC leaders are meeting virtually to discuss measures to tackle the COVID-19 pandemic. In focus is trade that supports the movement of vaccines and medical supplies. But with both Joe Biden and Xi Jinping expected to address the APEC leaders, the notion of any type of trade takes on a far more contentious flavour. Nick Harper joins us live now. Nick, with both presidents of the United States and China lining up for APEC virtually, could we get a sense of what to expect at their summit that is planned for next week?
Well, yeah, there's certainly that irony that APEC is all about trade, and yet the world's two largest economies are still battling when it comes to trade. Those Trump-era tariffs still very much in place. So yes, you're right. This could be a precursor for that summit between President Biden and President Xi. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but we're expecting it to take place on Monday evening, US time, Tuesday morning in Beijing. But those trade tensions will be bubbling away in the background in that meeting, but also here in the APEC meeting. Now, for President Biden, of course, this is an opportunity to once again show that he's very much engaged in the region. We've seen the Quad meetings, the ASEAN meetings that he's attended, and now an opportunity to speak to APEC. The White House put out a statement ahead of this meeting saying that the president's participation demonstrates the US commitment to the Indo-Pacific region and to mutual cooperation. But also remember that this is an opportunity to give something of a sales pitch for the president, to speak to those allies and partners in the Asia-Pacific region, all of those countries that the US is trying to court, to build that coalition of allies to try and counter and to stand up to China, many of them having the same fears and concerns that the US has. It's also an opportunity for the president to try and unruffle some of the feathers, to show that he is not the same as his predecessor, Donald Trump. Of course, we had the America First, very much nationalistic approach to trade under President Trump. President Biden is much more multilateral or multinational in his approach, and he will be trying to push that and show that as he has this opportunity to speak to the leaders of the APEC countries.
Right, Nick, the APEC economic leaders are charting a path to recovery following the pandemic. Now, what can we expect from those meetings?
Well, the idea is very much that it's all about cooperation. We're told that there were 340 preliminary meetings heading up to this one, where we have the leaders. And the idea is very much to push that idea of cooperation, working out a way forward, how to chart that path for economic recovery after the pandemic. But more importantly, perhaps before that, there is this problem of trying to ensure that vaccine distribution is happening quickly and equitably around the region. So all of the leaders will be speaking about an agreement they're trying to put in place to reduce some of the trade barriers, things that are stopping those vaccines getting in. So reducing tariffs or simply just making it easier at ports of entry, stopping the blockages of vital medicines, even things like masks, making sure that those can get through more effectively. So in the first place, very much trying to work out the vaccine distribution, but also looking ahead. So we could see some pledges, some promises for those ideas to really try and push a path forward for all of the countries as we emerge from COVID-19.
Thank you, Nick Harper, live in Washington.